Ryan, let's move on to the topic of the MBA. You've made quite a considerable investment into the MBA, not just in terms of money, but also time away from your startup journey. Why?
Well, first of all, it hasn't been necessarily away from my startup journey, as we mentioned. Like I am still working on these businesses. You know, to my previous experience with Compost Crew, I had a day job and worked on my business. I've always kind of been working on my businesses. So it isn't maybe the same opportunity cost as like losing a full-time income that a lot of my classmates are making. But as I had kind of alluded to earlier, is that my business was bought by an MBA, brought a lot of skills and just hard knowledge to the business that I saw as hugely valuable, and frankly, I had to admit was a gap in myself. I thought that getting an MBA would simultaneously, I'm a lifelong learner, very passionate about that, so it would simultaneously get me a lot of the skills and knowledge that I needed to maximize the probability of the maximal success of my next businesses. In short order. It also, to some degree, is a hedge, to get the great Cambridge name on my resume. If I ever need to get a job, it'll pay slightly more than before I got the MBA. And I also thought it would be a lot of fun, which it has been. So that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of your experiences around entrepreneurship that you've mentioned sounded like they've come before the MBA. So you've learned it the hard way by practicing it in real life.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've learned that is new around entrepreneurship and how you want to do startups in the future from the MBA?
I think it's not like broad general lessons. It's specifically from every course, I've taken little lessons and little tactics and strategies that I can apply to my next business. Right. So I think it's more about sharpening the knife, so to speak, than changing the weapon. Mm-hmm. And I think further, my classmates, you and many others have been amazing resources where I think back and I'm like, man, 5-6 years ago when I was at Compost Crew, if I had these amazing people that I could call instead of my $500 an hour lawyer to get advice on these things, it would have been so valuable. Yeah. And now, and frankly, back then, I did not have that kind of network and relationships where I could benefit in that way. So that's probably been the most valuable thing from school, and then. Yeah, I mean, more broadly speaking, the professors are included in that, the Cambridge community and the Cambridge cluster, and just the limitless opportunity of extremely high quality people and innovators that I am now, friends with, have access to, is probably the biggest value.
Yeah, and on the journey of self-discovery, is there anything new that you've learned about yourself as a result of the MBA? Or that you're a good entrepreneur? I mean, that's a result as well.
No, I mean, I think that's a really good question. And I think that a little bit the jury is still out on that. It's still only halfway through the program-ish, maybe a little bit more now. But I think I've learned both simultaneously that I have every right to be confident in my ability to do what I'm setting out to do, continue building valuable businesses that help make the world a better place. But at the same time, I'm reminded through, again, brilliant professors, but probably more so classmates, that, I can't do everything. There are amazing people that are much better than me at several different areas. And so more so understanding, developing a greater sense of humility and understanding that the only way I'm really going to be successful is if I'm able to continue to bring people on board and recruit people that are specialists that do their jobs really well to grow. So I think, it's kind of been, a yin and a yang type thing there.
Yeah. And what would you predict next, right after the MBA?
I'm fortunate that basically all of the businesses I'm working on have enough traction that I'll be able to pursue them, full time. So not looking for a job, just going full time unemployed entrepreneurship route, which is
disemployed is the right technical term. You've chosen to be unemployed. That's disemployment.
I'm very fortunate. I'll be working on my own ventures, and actually will, be able to really put the pedal down without, essays and exams and all that fun, and the VLE and all that fun stuff bogging me down a little bit now with the end of term.
Yeah. So I've asked all of my guests this question. I'm really keen on hearing what you have to say. If you had unlimited resources to do anything that you want to do after the MBA, what would that thing be for you?
Exactly what I'm going to be doing. I have adopted one of the, you have to have, part of why you have values is so you can make decisions. Mm-hmm. One of the values that I have is it's not always 100% possible, but as much as possible to make decisions and do things and work on things where if I had unlimited resources, I would still be doing the same thing. Because again, time, not money, is actually the only truly scarce resource. And so it's very important that you don't compromise on your time and you work on the things you want to work on. Because again, we're all, I'm going to be okay. People in the Cambridge MBA are all going to be doing just fine. So you might as well focus on doing something that could be transformational versus trying to optimize lifetime income, in my opinion.
So if you won a $10 million jackpot right now, you would inject it into your businesses?
Yeah, just maybe a little less sweat equity. It would be the only difference. Hire a few more people more quickly.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's brilliant to hear. I think that's the first time I've heard that response. And also, what is the most unusual but the most memorable experience that you've ever had so far in the MBA?
So you asked, why did I not stay in the U.S. for my MBA? There's obviously, the MBA was invented there. There's a lot of amazing programs there. I was fortunate to get into a few. And one of the reasons that I told myself is that I wanted to be at a university like Cambridge where the business school felt much more embedded through the college system, but also just generally with the broader university. Like, I'm here not just because we have a great business school, but because there is a great university around that, full of brilliant people from literally, Cambridge is top 5 in every single field. It's absurd. There's only, 3 or so other schools that are like that. And the moment I had where I really felt validated and so happy and kind of like any doubt and thoughts of regret of, deciding go to the UK was lifted was one of the first MCR formals where they turned the Emma Chapel I'm at Emmanuel College. They turned the Emma Chapel into like a party room, which I thought was super chill, like cool. It's like usually hollowed and maybe a little, at some other colleges, a little bit more pompous, if that's the right word. But Emma's a very chill college, is part of why I picked them. They turned it into a party room. You could bring your drinks in. There were PhDs in mathematics and physics and psychology and everything. It was a bit intimidating, to be fair. The champagne helped with that. And a student-led band playing jazz with wind instruments, which I'm a sucker for, right at the altar at the front, just jamming out. Started with more jazzy stuff. They got some Bieber in there, Taylor Swift, and some other like popular stuff with their own like jazzy take on it. People were dancing, having an amazing time, and I just felt like, wow, this is an exceptional experience. Like, this is so cool. Everything about it, and I felt home, really, and that's why I'm pretty much, we were talking about before, pretty much set on staying in Cambridge after I graduate. So
that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Finally, what piece of advice would you give to other entrepreneurs specifically who are about to do an MBA?
Get fucking started. Take the first step. That's simple. Just move forward. Stop planning. Go out and try to sign up a customer. Start building.
With that, I want to end this podcast. But Ryan, it's been such a lovely time. I've learned so much, and I hope other people find the same thing. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Rosin. I've learned a lot as well. And I hope someone can take one or two things from it.
Thanks, man.